So there we go. Go ahead and just open your mic if you want to and share with us your amazing manifestation. Don't be shy.
Oh,
go Pen.
Oh, go ahead, Pen.
Sorry. Did I step on somebody?
No, go ahead. And then Victoria, you're next.
Okay. Real quick. One of the things that I worked on in the workshop was relationship with my dad, and that has gotten substantially better. Still working on health and still working on finances. But 1 out of 3 ain't bad, I guess.
No, and relationships, especially with, a parent, that's huge. So congratulations.
Well, Penelope, this is not a minor thing. Yeah. And here's why. Is the relationship with your parents, if it is corrupted, the foundation of your life is corrupted. The rejection of one of your parents is a rejection of half of you. When our relationship with our father is corrupted, we may find a lot of financial challenges. And when our relationship with our mother is corrupted, we may find a lot of challenges with our endeavors, blocks to our endeavors. So those healings have a lot to do with much more than just getting along right now.
Great.
So
gorgeous.
Yeah.
All right. We want everybody to have a chance to share. So Victoria, would love to hear what did you manifest?
Nothing. Well, it is a big deal, but at work, I talked to you on our call when I first signed up, the one-on-one call with you, and I had mentioned to you about work. I'm always just walking around and just moving and just it's just a high-paced atmosphere for me. I'm constantly having stuff thrown at me. And I just noticed like the edge was completely gone when I got home. And I almost I had to stop. And I'm like, when something would happen, I didn't feel the reaction in my gut. And I'm like, I almost feel like I'm on drugs. Like that's how like if you're taking painkillers or something, and it's just like kind of takes the edge off. And you're like, this is pretty cool. That's kind of how I've been feeling, just really laid back. And this is the second week of work since Cogno Conscious, and it's been that way the whole time. And now it's just becoming my norm because I don't even notice it anymore. I have to stop and think about it. I'm like, oh my God, this is just like really changed.
That is cool. I mean, it does start to become your new norm really quick. Yeah. But it's cool that it feels like kind of being on a high without doing any drugs.
Yeah, without side effects or the addiction.
Wow. Do you feel younger? Because you
yeah, I mean, yeah, I do. I just feel so much just more relaxed and at peace and just taking life so much easier. Yeah.
Wow.
Looking good.
Wow, that's great. That is great. You can see it on your face.
Thank you.
That is so great. Oh, I'm happy for you.
So if you don't know what we're talking about the Cogno Conscious seminar. It was just last weekend. And so a lot of people have had some amazing experiences there. So go ahead, Bill. Sorry, I stepped on you.
Oh, well, it'll appear kind of subtle maybe, but Victoria, since there's such a change at work specifically, is any relationship there seem a little bit different to you now?
Well, one of the main people that I work with, yeah, I've been working on that, and I was sending in love during Cogno Conscious. Yeah, I would say the person that I have I don't want to call it friction, but I just really have to tiptoe around him. That's become a little bit easier. Yeah.
Oh, good. Fantastic.
That's great. All right. Okay.
Really, really good.
Can I tell you?
Go ahead, Neville. I'm sorry.
Sorry, no problem. Since I've got my Cogno ball, I've changed 360 degrees. I've released so much. My life has changed so much. I even get emotional about it. My life has just been very different. My relationships, my business, it's a blessing. Thank you.
Wow.
Did your business get easier, or was there more volume, or what happened on your business first?
My business was struggling after COVID. So I needed something extra, something new. And I was given a hunch to go to a warehouse in a city next to ours to go and investigate something. And I went and I met the person, and he's sitting with 54 tons of recovered carbon. And he doesn't know what to do with it because it was pyrolyzed from a tire, but it was done incorrectly. So somebody needs to process it a bit further. So I then investigated, and I can do it myself. So then to move this carbon to another city, because it's a hazardous product, it hasn't been properly recovered, would have been a huge cost. And he's given me his warehouse for free. The only problem I've got, I don't have electricity there. I just got to get a generator to go do it. So subsequently I've been building the machine, and I'll be seeing customers next week. So it's a tremendous opportunity.
Oh, wow. That's so great. Good for you.
Congratulations.
But the big thing that I did, 99% of what I did is I released day after day. In the morning, I'd get up, Cogno board. I was actually getting tired of it. And then I'd douse, and I would just find out what else have I got to release. And there was just always continuous things that I just let go. And, it's true what you say, you forget about it. And now that you guys were asking, what did I manifest? And I thought, well, what have I gone through? And it's just all this releasing.
Wow. There's those suggestions. So this happens, people with Cogno movement, and they're like, man, I'm sick and tired of releasing. But what you can do is you can start to move into the positive. So something you want, or something you just already feel great about, like maybe this business opportunity. So you start there and you just make that sensation bigger. Now, you don't have to worry that you're not going to release anything, because if there's any hiccup, it'll show up and it naturally goes. So it becomes a really fun way to do Cogno movement. You make all these great feelings bigger and bigger, and it makes your day feel that much better. So it's one way you can do it, to kind of get out of the rut, the boredom of doing it.
Well, Liz, that is my question for you guys tonight, is doing the first half of the Hawkins scale is much easier than doing the second half. And I'm not too sure how to approach that side. I have been approaching it, but I would like some advice from you, because now it's not releasing, it's now finding my higher self.
Okay.
Are you with me, Bill?
I'm with you.
You.
Yeah. We totally get you. So here's what you do: is the way you can easily do this is, for example, if one of the levels is trusting, right? Okay, where do I have distrust? So do the exact opposite. What is keeping me from forgiving? What are my, at the level of acceptance, what am I not accepting? What am I not forgiving? At the level, so just do the opposite, and, work, as you work that, the level will come easily. It'll just naturally occur. The other thing that you can do is There's books that are about as high as your chest, from him, and a lot of wonderful reading, if you're interested
Yes.
in reading and research. Anyway, yeah.
And I would say a follow up on what I just said too is any of those words in there that feel especially good to you, where it's already an opening, take the opening, take that good feeling and work the session, make it bigger, make it bigger, make it bigger. And if there's any problem, it will show up, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with making these great sensations soar in our body. You can get yourself to that feeling like Victoria was talking about, a feeling high, and then build on to the next one. But if there's any block, we guarantee you it'll show up. You will not miss it. So don't be afraid to do the positive side of it. It always works and it feels good. So win-win.
But that's what I'm confused about. Releasing blocks has become easy for me. But how do I enhance the positive?
Okay.
How do I enhance that good feeling?
So exactly the same way. So let me highlight myself just for a second. I'll show everybody in case you all have this question. Okay. So let's say it's reverence, because this is one we did recently and it feels so good. And you imagine in your mind this thing that you've seen that's so impossibly beautiful, just gorgeous. We're going to do a little bit of it tonight. And as you feel it, as you think of it, you feel this feeling in your body that's like nothing else. Gorgeous feeling or courage or whatever it is for you. And then you work your ball left and right and you hold on to that feeling specifically, that feeling, that good feeling in the body. And you start to work your system exactly like you do. Keep in mind that Cognomovement is based on sensation. Doesn't have to be negative sensation. Could be champagne bubbles. It could be absolute exquisite joy. It could just be, hey, I feel a little cool today. Whatever the sensation is in the body, you work it. And as you work it, it's going to move you through the physical, into neutrality, into ideas and inspiration. Now you're in reverence or courage or whatever it is, and ideas and inspiration. When you begin to move and you're feeling reverent and you're showing your brain this exact sensation, it's going to find things that match or things that contradict. So either way, you feel great or you find a place that's stuck and you work that area. So it's always sensation. Put your attention on the sensation and you're going to get the result, whether it's a positive, negative, or even neutral sensation.
Thank you. That's great.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for that share, Neville. That was amazing. Anybody else want to share? You got a manifestation you want to share with us? Cool stories? Anybody? Just open your mic. All right, looks like people are going to be shy. If you think up one and you want to share it with us, let us know. We'll do it at the end. So let's get started for tonight because we've got a lot to get through. First, I want to let everybody know that the next round of practitioner training is beginning on October 1st. You can always join practitioner training. It's modules online, so you can begin that at any time. But there is a 3-month cycle of the live classes that just begin again. So there's online recorded. There's live online where you interact with Bill and I. That happens twice a month. You get training, you get to share, you get to ask questions. Then there is live in San Diego, and that will be happening again in January. So stay with us. There is a significant discount if you get your practitioner training before October 1st. The discount will end then for the new cycle. So if that's something you want, you can put that in the chat and Leah will get that to you right away. Otherwise, we'll be posting it at the end. So tonight, what are we doing tonight, Bill?
We're gonna have some fun. So this is going to be around manifesting. So maybe I'll just share a little screen with you, and then we'll get into it. Is that okay, Liz?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, great. All right. So here we go. All right, everybody's familiar with this. So we're going to be doing a little bit of cogno-quantum today, a little bit of cogno-movement and cogno-quantum. So this everybody already realizes, but for some of you that haven't been with us recently, a little quick blurb on your subconscious. Your subconscious exploits your body to control you. And how does it do that? The subconscious simply creates a feeling in your body. It uses your neurological system to create a feeling in your body. And then you act according to that sensation, that feeling. You think thoughts equal to it, and you act according to it. So it's very important to process these automatic responses, right? Or install an automatic response that you want, right? We got these automatic responses programmed in us when we were children. Typically between the ages of 0 and 7 is when our brains were in that alpha brainwave state. And so it was very easy for us to begin to adopt these automatic responses. So here, hopefully I can move. I'm not sure. Can everybody see the car? Can
Yeah,
everybody see that?
they can see it. All you have to do is collapse the
Okay, I'm
video
trying.
of everybody.
Okay, so I'm just here. Okay.
Everybody else can see it.
So if you haven't had your Cogno quantum training, this is also something that you might find interesting. It turns out that our energy system has different frequencies. Literally, the color of the different energy center is relative to a frequency. Every color has a frequency. And every one of them has a different function. So the first one is your ideas and inspiration. When you get the idea, let's say I want a new car. Out in the ether, right, it begins to materialize. Now, at this point, it's a faint ghost. We begin to have thoughts about the car, and we start to look at it. Do I want the tan interior or the black interior? Do I want, is it a Ford Mustang or is it a hardtop or a convertible? And then you talk about it. It becomes denser. In Aramaic, you know what abracadabra means? Is with my words I create. Kind of interesting, isn't it? And in the East, the throat chakra is said to be the one that when you're in alignment and you speak, and you always speak the truth, then what you speak becomes reality. Your heart, you begin to feel, right? You begin to feel it. You do something. You go down to the dealer and you start looking at it. You're looking at it on the internet. Notice that with every step, as the manifestation moves down through your energy centers, it becomes denser and denser in the ether. We down to our creation chakra, our belly button, where we have they call it the lower dantian, where there's a lot of energy. And finally, the slowest chakra we have, the base chakra, is the slowest and closest to the material world. It also happens to be the area where we create life itself. and voila, we get the thing to materialize. Now, this pathway is the pathway of everything when we go to materialize or go to manifest something. The interesting thing here is that when we have a block in one of our energy centers or somewhere, let's say something happened. I helped this person. I don't know if anybody saw the picture of it, but it was a Porsche S4. And this very awesome, as far as performance type car. And this particular person really wanted that Porsche S4, but they had all kinds of blocks in them. They felt that, well, if I get this car, all my friends are going to abandon me. If I get this car, then, they must have had some betrayals or abandonment issues there in their life. Now, what it does is the pathway of this car, when it goes to materialize, let's say it's out in the ether and it tries to materialize, what happens, it hits this in your field, this disturbance. So we have a trauma, something traumatic, like my friends are going to leave me, and I wrap this in a negative emotion. It creates literally a dense field right inside my auric field. The normal path for this Mustang to go is down, it comes through the ether and then down through the chakra system energetically. So these blocks that we have in our ether, in our field, are extremely important to remove inside of us and in the field. When we do this, what happens is the thoughts become things very quickly. And by very quickly, I mean like it could be like almost immediate. Practitioner actually, but came to Cogno Conscious and found herself looking through a magazine the next day, and she's looking, and there was a smoothie, like a berry smoothie in a mason jar in an advertisement in one of those free little papers you get that's in your mail, and she looks at it and she goes, that looks good. I think I'd like one of those. That looks good. It was like 10 minutes, knock on the door. Hi, her friend's out, come on. Hi, I was just thinking of you. I thought you might like this. The berry smoothie in the mason jar. It wasn't a new sweater. It wasn't some shampoo. It wasn't the lottery. It was a berry smoothie in a mason jar. From that exact place. So this is alive and well. We have many stories about people that do this work and how quickly things happen. So
let me tell just one more. Let me tell one more. So at the Cogno Conscious event, a lot happens and we're doing a lot of sessions. So there's a lot of things that could happen each session. We had somebody who's been trying to sell their business for 10 years. And while they're working on that session, they got a message, an email with a solid offer, and immediately got the solid offer and accepted it the next day. Another person was working on a situation with their parent. And while they were working the situation, the parent called and left this glowing, radiant message. And we asked her, has she ever done that before? And she said, nope, and never would she have. but it happened. So the instantaneousness of it can be remarkable. And there's other things that take time. I don't know if you guys saw my email, but or my video that I'd been casually talking about having a vineyard, just casually daydreaming. Turns out there's actually one right here in my backyard on my back patio as we speak, with the exact kind of grapes that are in a vineyard locally that I admire. So there's that. So sometimes the manifestations sneak in and we don't even realize they're there. So anyway, go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
That's beautiful. So, as you say, some are fast, some are instantaneous and other ones are slower. And if you have not watched the map of the levels of awareness, the mole, it's worth a watch. It's free. It's an hour-long class, and Cognomovement/Gaia. And you can watch it right there. It's an hour-long class. And so it addresses maybe what state are you living in? And the state that you're living in emotionally, it will have a lot to do with the speed of your manifestations, how things come for you. Now, knowing that your traumatic experience, the emotion, whatever happened, in your life, that it creates these clouds in your field, if you will. These are so thick that you're going to be able to feel it with your hand. You're not imagining it. This is not a figment of your imagination. Everyone is familiar with the EEG, right? You put a cap on your head, and this cap on your head, it will record your brainwave, all your brain waves, beta, alpha, theta, delta. It records them all. There is scientific proof now that your thoughts are non-local. It's called magnetoencephalography. This device has actual sensors outside of your head. They're not even attached, but they're picking up the energetic charge of your thoughts outside your head, and they can actually map your brain waves to those electronic charges and where the activity is. So guess what? When you've had something major in your life, there's a lot of energy. So I'm going to show you today how to find that and how to rid that out of your field so that that Mustang can come on in. So we're going to start today. Liz is going to take you through the beginning stages of this manifestation work. The most important thing here is to start with is that you need to pick one item and only one item, just one thing. So you're going to have to focus, and you're going to have to keep that one thing throughout the entire process. It'll be tempting to like, oh, I want this and this and this and this. Well, guess what? You can watch it again and do it again, but just for to make this as effective as possible, just this one thing, okay? All right, so before we start, any questions? Questions or comments? How'd you like the graphics? I'm gonna be presenting those next week.
And we do know there's a typo. Leah just
Yes.
hasn't got back in there and fixed it yet. Yeah, everybody's shy tonight, Bill.
Oh, God. Well, you're going to get called out then.
No, we just can't wait for manifesting. Like, we just want to meet.
All right, let's give the people what they want.
So when you say you want one thing, so you're wanting us to concentrate on one material object?
It could be
like a situation or something. Yeah.
Bill, I'm going to walk them through that.
Okay. All right.
Very good.
Yeah. All right. Let's give the people what they want. Bill McKenna. Let's get going.
All right.
All right.
Do it up.
Okay. So really, this is the number one thing. If you guys get nothing else out of tonight, the main reason that people do not manifest what they want is they never choose. So we had a funny moment in Cogno Conscious where one of the gals, we said, what do you want specifically? And somebody said, well, I want to run free in the woods. Oh, so you'd like somebody to drop you off on the top of a mountain and just let you run around? Oh, well, no. So did you want to build a shack in the woods and live out? Well, no, not exactly. Well, where are these woods? Well, maybe in my backyard. Oh, so what you want specifically is woods in your backyard. Yeah. That you go out to and visit when you choose. Yeah. So see the difference? So you want to get as specific as you can without bossing the universe. Our friend Annette chose a pearl white Tesla with black interior, and that's exactly what she got. The more specific you can be, the better it is because you can focus on that thing. So I'm going to give you kind of an example. If someone were to say, I want $1 million, well, that's pretty specific. But what are you going to do with that $1 million? Do you actually want $1 million to just sit in the bank account that you never spend? Do you want $1 million that's a pile in the middle of your floor? Likely no. You have a reason you want $1 million. So for the example, someone might say, well, I want the $1 million because I want to go all over Europe. I want the money to fly a private jet over there. I want to go all over Europe. Great. What are you going to do in Europe? You're just going to go? Oh, well, I specifically want to go to all the nightclubs because I've heard they're really cool over there. Okay. Are you going alone? Well, no, maybe I'll have a friend with me. So what are you going to do at the nightclubs? What do you want to do there? Well, actually, I've heard there's a lot of hot guys in Europe at the nightclubs, and I want to meet a hot guy. See how we went from $1 million to Europe to a hot guy? What do you, hot guy, fantastic. And then what do you get? Well, then I get someone who really, cares about me and loves me. Cool. And then what do you get? Well, I feel loved. And then what? Well, I love myself. So you see how that escalated quickly? So think it through just a tiny bit. And then what, and then what, and then what? See that the thing that you're manifesting is what you actually want. So a thing like a vineyard, that's pretty easy. A thing like a specific car, that's pretty easy. But finances, know what you want to do with that in your mind. I want to have $10,000 coming into my account every month that I can spend, share, and save, right? So don't just say money, because money can be anything. Money in your life can also be a debt. So I want a positive cash flow of X amount of dollars that I can spend, save, and share. But for this exercise, you might pick something simple that could show up like that berry smoothie, so you can prove to yourself how to do it, and then you can just repeat the process. So tonight, where we're going to start is kind of building one of the muscles that you already have. And it's, what do you have that you already got? And what did that feel like? What do you already have in your life that you wanted at one time? You got it, and notice what that felt like. So if anybody out there just had a little resistance, like, I never got anything I ever wanted, raise your hand in the chat. Yeah,
So
this is normal.
that is normal. May I just make a comment?
Sure.
We learn in difference. I learn what black is from knowing white. I learn what hot is from knowing cold. It's really important, as Liz takes you through the exercise, to remember and notice what it felt like to want. And then when you got it.
We're not working on that part yet, Bill. You're doing that part. We're clearing out that I never
I'm sorry.
got
I thought you were going there.
Bill McKenna never listens to what I have to say. He just doesn't. All right. Hold your horses. We're getting there.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to change my ways, by the way.
No, you're not. Okay. So Yes.
Liz,
right,
you
so-
need to do Cogno movement on that one.
I do. I have to
For
cognitive
the last couple years.
for the last couple of years. Okay, so what we're doing first, just so everybody's on page on the same page, including Bill McKenna, is that we just had some people who raised their hand who, when I said there was something you wanted and you got it, that your body just reacted like, I never got anything in my life. So feel that. Feel the times when you wanted it and you didn't get it. We're going to do just a little clearing. So Neville, it's interesting because you just shared with us something you wanted and you did get, but the body has more of a hook for I wanted it and I didn't get it. There's a really good reason for this. When you get something that you wanted and it comes into your life, you forget very quickly because the nervous system doesn't have to worry about it. It does not have to protect you from that. But when you wanted something and you didn't get it, that hurts. And the nervous system does need to protect you from that. So it will flash that feeling of protection. Our job is to clear that the heck out. So that's what we're going to do. Everybody, notice that sensation in your body. I'm going to ask again. You wanted something and you got it. If your body just kicked up, I didn't though. That's the sensation. Let it be there. It's just a sensation, a feeling in the body somewhere, or even a chronic thought that just snuck in like, I know you're trying to trick me, Liz Larson. I know you're trying to trick me into saying I got something and I didn't because I didn't get the thing I wanted. Feel it. Let it bloom in the body, that sensation of I wanted it, I got it, except for that I didn't, right? So let's clear that out. Let your ball drop to about waist level. We'll do this one sitting. And get that feeling. It may just be, yeah, I got it, but it wasn't 100% perfect. Great, Penelope, that's fine. You can use that one too. So that's a big thing. A lot of times we'll think, well, I got it. So I got that relationship. When we first started using this, I used my own example. When I was in high school, there was this boy who walked into the comments and boy, my eyes went right to him. I thought, well, that'll be mine. And it happened. We dated for 3 years and yeah, it faded out, right? You get older. So I didn't have it for the rest of my life, but it didn't mean I didn't manifest it right then. So our bodies will go to exactly what Penn's talking about. Well, I did get that thing. It's true, I manifested it, but it didn't work out, right? The body will try to protect us. So that's the sensation we're going to clear out right now. Hold on to it. Let it be there. Let your body tell the truth that you wanted it and you got it, but it wasn't exactly what you wanted, or it wasn't the right color, or it didn't work out, or it didn't last. Just let it be there. Really let it brew up in the body, that sensation. Just let your head drop and your eyes drop to your ball. And then start to move it left and right. We're just going to do some Cogno Movement 101. Let that sensation be there. And I'm going to have you call out the color that you see. So red, orange, and feel it. That thing you wanted that you got, but it didn't work out. Or that feeling that you never got anything in your whole life that you ever wanted. Not even a popsicle. Not even that rubber ball from the corner market. None of it. You never got it. Feel it. That sensation, it's very unique and familiar of I wanted it and I got it, but it didn't work out. Or I wanted it and I never got it. Feel it. I never got anything in my whole life. Color, green, yellow, orange, red, green, purple, blue. Moving up now to about the solar plexus. I wanted it and I got it. It didn't work out. Or I wanted it and I never got anything, not in my whole life. Feel it. Really breathe into it. Lean into it, you guys. The deeper you lean into that sensation and let it be there, the quicker it'll go. I got it, but it wasn't what I really wanted. Breathe into it. Keep your eyes on the ball and both hands on the ball at all times. Good. Breathe. I got it, but it didn't work out. Or I wanted it and I never got it. Not anything in my whole life. Not even that fancy dress. Not even that bike. Not even that job. Breathe into it. Feel it. May seem a little silly now, but it feels that way. Let it be there. Feel it. I got it and it didn't turn out. Orange, blue, purple. We're about the throat level now. Breathe into it and welcome that sensation even a little more. I got it, but it didn't turn out. Or I never got anything, not in my whole life. Feel it. Move up to the mouth level. Feel. I got it. Didn't work out. Eye level. Beautiful. Stay in it. Stay with me, guys. Feel into that feeling. Let it be there as much as it is. So familiar. Eyes up over the head, chin down. Stretch. I got it. Or it didn't work out good. Or I never got anything my whole life. Feel it. Okay. Hold it up over your head. Deep breath in. And pull the ball down out of the sky like it's attached to a bungee. Pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it, and let it drop. Let your head drop and your eyes rest just for a minute. And just bring back that idea. I asked you before to think of something you wanted that you got. Notice what's there now. Notice if there's still the reaction, I got it, but it didn't work out. Or I never got anything. Just notice what's there. It might be bigger. It might be smaller. It might be different. It might be gone. Just notice what is there. Okay. Next round, you're going to say it out loud. You're going to talk yourself through. Kind of looks like this. I never got anything in my whole life. I always wanted stuff and I never got it and nobody ever gave it to me. Just left and right. You're on mute. So let her rip. Say it out loud. The whole story. Right here at the waist, left and right, saying it out loud. Tell it. And feel it. Feel the body and its sensation. Eyes on the ball, left and right. Tell it. The ball will naturally start to move up the body as the story goes. Saying it out loud. The true story about how you never got that thing or it just never worked out for you. Feel into it. Moving it up the body as it wants to. Let the ball move as it wants to up the body. Tell the story out loud, how you just never get what you want. How it never works out. Except for that one time when it did. Feel into it. You never get what you want. Except for when you do. Feel into it. Feel into it. So familiar. Feel it and tell the story out loud. Good. When you get to the top, hold the ball over your head just for a second. Eyes up, chin down, breathe. And then put your ball right in your left hand. Take a big deep breath in. And let the ball fall to the left side, letting your eyes really stretch. Breathe. Keep telling the story. You never get anything. Never works out for you. Really let the eyes stretch, pulling it all the way down the left side. Slow. Never works out for you except for when it does. Fantastic. Let the ball roll gently across your lap. Let your eyes follow. Just cup it in your right hand, right about waist level, just below. Head forward, eyes really stretched, and just bring it slowly up. You never get what you want. Say it out loud. Except for when what you do. Breathe into it. Let the eyes stretch and let the story flow. Let the story flow. Moving it all the way up over your head. You never get what you want, except for when you do. Good. And let that ball drop back down. Going to be at waist level. Tell the story one more time, this time quicker. Left and right, up the body. Tell the story out loud. Telling it out loud. All the times you never got what you wanted, except for when you did. Breathe into it. Feeling it now. Feeling it left and right, up the body. Tell the story out loud. Moving the ball quickly. All those times you never got anything, except for when you did. Breathing into it. Up the body. When you get to the top, cup it in that left hand. Really let the eyes stretch here. Really stretch them. Slow, 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 slow. All the times you never got what you wanted, except for when you did. Breathing into it. Good. Let it roll across your low lap here into the right hand and slow up the body. Telling the story, whatever it is now. I never got what I wanted except for when I did. Breathing into it. Up over the top of the head now. Chin down, eyes up. Really slowly, tick-tock. Keep telling the story about a time when, well, maybe you did get something you wanted. If there's one that pops in, letting the body feel. Breathe.
Keeping both hands on the ball.
Keeping both hands on the ball. Absolutely. Good. Good. And we're just going to quickly tell the story one more time. You're going to pinch your left ear, pinch and wiggle, breathing into it. Just tell the story one more time about sometimes how you get things. Breathing into it. Sometimes things work out. Pull that ear forward and just breathe in, pop. And the other ear. Right hand, left ear, telling the story. Breathing into the body and noticing the sensation in the body. Notice how it's the same and different. Notice how your story has changed. Breathing into it. Okay, pulling that ear forward. And pop. Good. And give yourself a little King Kong action. And just notice, now it may not be at 100% zero, but it's going to be enough of a movement to let Bill move into the next piece. We're going to move in and build another bit of a muscle. So clear it out, shake your head, turn your head to the left and yawn, or right, whichever is left and right for you. Gasp, and it'll really trigger a yawn or a cough. Turn your head the other way, gasp. Good. Shake it off. If you're already standing, make yourself a big figure 8. And then we'll hand it over to Bill. The next step is to start to notice what is actually in your life, and your body should be more willing to allow that now. You're muted, Bill. You can take yourself off restriction now.
I was let out of the penalty box.
Penalty box.
The
That's what
penalty
makes a
box.
penalty box, right?
You could just call it home. Okay. Okay. So before we begin the this sensation, what to get you to focus in and on the thing that you want to manifest. What is that one thing? You've had a few moments to kind of consider it. The one thing for today. So if you have a pen or your phone, doesn't matter, however it is, but just write down the one thing. The one thing that you want to manifest. So get very, very clear on the one thing. Now, the one thing doesn't necessarily have to be big. It can be small, but it has to be about you, for you. It's not going to work if it's something like, oh, I want global world peace. I want the, you name it, something big and global. Let's make it about you, something in your life for you. So this thing, what happens when you get this thing? Once you write down what happens next? I got the thing. Car, the house, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the whatever. What happens next? If then, if I get this, then what do I get? What happens? And now, whatever that is, and then what? What happens when you have this result? I know it's a little bit hard to consider, but try to consider. The thing manifested, something happened, and what was the next thing that happened because of this? Next thing that you got. And then, now that happened, and then what happens? I know you want to punch me right now, but believe me, this is worth it. What happens next? This takes a little bit of effort, but it's very much worth it. Most people with manifestations never think beyond the very first thing. And it's identical for fears. They never think past the actual fear. And then one more. What happens next? Okay. Now, ask yourself, am I happy with this manifestation? Is this what I really want? Is it? If you're happy with this, we're going to proceed forward. If you're not happy with this, then choose again. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to move our eyes in a big circle. So like this, your head is straight and level. And what you're going to do is you're just going to move your eyes across the ceiling, and you're going to be in your manifestation. Now it's going to be this slow, and you're going to move it all the way around. We are going to find where your body objects to this manifestation. Or a little later, we're going to find where your energy system is objecting. So let's begin. Take your head straight and level. Look straight up with your eyes and 100% be in this manifestation. I'm in it. I'm loving it. Hold on. We're gonna take one more step before this. Okay? Just wait 1 second. Okay, close your eyes. Now, there are things in your life right now, here today. They're all around you. They're in your house. You chose your shoes. You chose your clothes. You chose your furniture. You chose the place that you're living right now. You chose your car. All of these different choices, even if they were given to you, you chose, I'll accept it or I won't. You literally have free will to walk away. So whatever it is that's in your life right now, remember when you wanted it. And this could be your shoes in your closet. Think about there's a pair of shoes in there that you wanted, a pair of boots. At the point in time, you wanted those boots. And then you got those boots. At a certain point in time, you may have wanted your dinner table, your chairs, your couch. Go back to when you wanted it, whatever it is, and then you got it. Maybe it's your car. Remember when you wanted it, and then you got it. The wanting it is just as important as noticing that as the having it. Go back to wanting it, and then to having it. The reality of things in your life. Now, where do you have a sensation in your body as you are aware that I have it? If it's around you, open your eyes and notice it. I have it. I have the table. I have the chairs. I have the whatever. This could be a physical location. I wanted to live in this particular city. I remember wanting to live here, and then I remember moving here. I got it. Remember? If it's an apartment, a house, whatever it is, I wanted it, and then I got it. Where is this in your body? Where is there a sensation? This is very, very important. Now, for everybody, if you cannot feel this sensation, then unmute yourself and say something. If I'm going to assume everybody can feel this, there is a sensation somewhere of, I got it. I wanted it and I got it. This, if you get nothing else out of tonight, this will help to change things. The wealthy, and I mean wealthy in whatever regard they're wealthy in their life, have their attention on a different feeling in their body. This feeling of, I've got it, right? That is your particular area. For me, this is my belly button. For many other people, it's in their heart. Another person I met, they're in their throat. So it could be anywhere in your body. There's no place that it needs to be, but it's your personal attracting, having area. So now that you have this, realize that 99% of the population out there are not in their havingness area. They're somewhere else. Notice, do I spend a lot of time with this sensation in my body? Do I? Ask yourself that question. Notice the sensation. I wanted it, I got it. What was that? I mess her name up every time. Ariana Grande. She's got a song. I wanted it, I got it. She's definitely living in that particular sensation. So, this sensation, this area, go back. I wanted it and I got it. You really need to know where this sensation is and be able to feel it. For humanity, an external event happens and then they get the sensation. What we're doing is getting the sensation and then physical reality will shift. Does that make sense? But now you know exactly where it is and exactly what sensation it is and exactly how to create this sensation. Okay, there's much, much more. So now that you have this sensation, we're just going to focus on the sensation and the thing that you wrote down that you want to manifest. Notice the sensation and now begin to roll your eyes. Roll your eyes very, very slowly. There will be a point at which there is maybe a pulling in the eyes, maybe the eyes get dry, maybe there is double vision in a particular location. Wherever that is, stop the eyes right there. Notice as you were thinking about this manifestation, if there's something right there that comes up, maybe a picture of something going on. Notice it. It may be nothing at all. If you do notice it, then wherever those eyes are not focused or they're pulling, you're going to have the web of your hand. You're going to pinch the web of your hand with that pressure point right here. Here. You pinch this and you breathe in, holding the position of your eyes. Pinching that point, and what will happen is the eyes are going to let go. And now, once that's let go, move very, very slowly to the next point that your body objects to this manifestation. Stay in the feeling of I want it, I got it. Stay in this manifestation. I really want this manifestation. Have that feeling wherever that is. Move the eyes until they start to pull and then stop there. Noticing, is there something? Is my body objecting here? What is it? You may see a picture in your mind's eye. You may know something. If I get this, then those people are going to be jealous and then they're going to attack me. Whatever it might be. Whatever it might be. Pinch that web and keep the eyes in the position. Breathe in through the nose. let go, and do it again. Pinch, breathe, let go. Pinch, breathe, let go. When the eyes relax, move to the next position. Move to the next position. Noticing the very first time you go around with the eyes, the resistance will be significant. And the second time you go around, there'll be little minor objections, shall we say, to your manifestation. Find those where the eyes might be a little bit out of focus, or strained slightly, or maybe a blinking. Stop right there, press, and breathe in through the nose. Release, do it again. Do it again. Beautiful. When it releases, move to the next. Super easy process. All you have to do is stay focused on your manifestation and feel that great feeling in your body. That's it. Continue on until there's no place where the eyes have pulling, or a little glitch, if you will. Beautiful. And now, if your eyes are all good all the way around, now we're going to have a little bit of fun. You may have noticed during this process that something came up. You were like, you know what? I'm getting the new car. And then all of a sudden you were in a certain area and the eyes were glitchy and they're like, wait a second. How much is the insurance on that car? I'm not sure I can afford that. How much are the payments? I don't know. I don't know if I want to do, whatever that is, or I'm going to be judged. Whatever. That. Where is that in the field around me? What you do is open your hand, and you already know where this is around you. You already know. Oh, that's my coworker, or my brother. They're going to judge me. Reach out to that exact area. These negative feelings all have mass and density. Reach out very, very slowly and feel right in that exact area. As you're feeling right in that exact area, does it feel dense there? You can go from underneath it and feel it. Go underneath and feel. And then clap it out. Go through each and every one of those. Wherever that is, the people, the situations that would be in resistance to me having this. An old situation that happened in your life that somehow comes to mind. It doesn't seem related, but it sure came to mind as you're going to get this car. You're like, I don't know why, but it keeps coming up about, a medical problem I used to have. It's like, oh, okay. Where is that medical problem? Reach out in the field and feel that area and clap it out. Even though it seems irrelevant, it's somehow interconnected to the manifestation. Find it. You already know the very first place that I think of that it would be, reach out and feel it. Now, we don't flail around the field. We'll just pick the one area I already know. It should be right about here. And then you just reach your hand out very, very slowly and feel. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's a coworker. Maybe it's somebody I used to go to school with. Maybe it's an ex. Exes always have a lot of energy on their spouse. Amazingly enough. Everything's all divorced up, but they still got a lot of energy that they're throwing at the other person.
They're throwing the stank on you.
Yeah. Where is that? Who would be none too happy about me having this? Feel it and clap. Clap it up. Okay. Was there anything like a loss from my parents? One of their traumatic experiences, how maybe they would feel like, well, that's not very prudent, that they would object in some way to you having this. Is there objection from your mom or dad to having this? Whatever it is, find that and clap it out. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. And now, where is this manifestation in the field around you? Where is it? You already know what you want. You went through the list. This is what you wanted. Where is that in my field around me? If it was somewhere, where would it be? Reach your hand out and feel the area. See if there feels like there's something there. Is there something there? Now, when you feel this, it'll feel like thick air. For some of us who have put a ton of energy into the manifestation, you'll actually even feel like micro little shocks on your hand. I had this one guy who wanted to fly private, be able to fly private. And he had done so much manifesting work around it. It was huge in his field. And when he touched it, it was like shocking his hand. That was that much electricity in it. So feel it. Ready? Everybody feel it? All right. Okay. And now get your Cogno movement ball, and wherever that is, here's what you're going to do. Put your ball right in the middle of the manifestation. Put it right in the middle of it. And now fix your eyes on a point on the Cogno movement ball. I like to use the stem because it's a dot. Put it right in the middle of the manifestation. You know where that's at the field. And now fix your eyes on the dot, on one point on your Cogno movement ball. And what you're going to do, the eyes remain fixed and the head moves. All of your attention is on the manifestation. And as you're focused in on the manifestation, you keep rotating your head to its furthest parameter. So your eyes are as far over as they can get, as far and you'll tilt your head back, keep your eye on the point, and you'll move your head until you feel a little something. You'll feel a kick up. All of your attention is on the manifestation. You'll feel a little bit of a kick up in your body. You may even feel a little wobble, a little unstable. When you find the exact position, the body will start to react. You're actually connecting your energetic system inside your brain and the body to the point in the field where it already exists. You can do micro movements to get the exact eye position. There's a place in your brain that this manifestation resides. And we're connecting up to it. And enjoy that feeling. Well, as it starts to wobble on you, your body, this is completely natural. Just enjoy that. Enjoy your manifestation.
Breathe too. Don't forget to breathe into it. Really make it expand.
Notice how your body is responding. Let yourself feel it. All right, grab your ball with both hands, and with all of your intention, you're going to pull this manifestation right out of the field, right to the top of your head. As it's in the top of your head, you're going to, with your hands, you pull it right down out of the ball into the top of your head. All of your intention is keeping it right there at the top of your head. You can drop your ball once you've done that. As you're here, close your eyes. Notice how it feels right in the top of your head. And now, 12 inches above your head and just forward of it is the star of creation. Imagine the star of creation is now, with your intention, coming down to the top of your head, right in the middle of your manifestation. And begin to notice, is the manifestation moving down through the center of your body? And notice where the manifestation stops. And when it stops, ask yourself the question, what is it right here where the manifestation stopped that I'm afraid of? What is it that I'm afraid of? What is it that I'm afraid of right here? Now, this will seem very juvenile. Typically, the fear see if you're willing to let that fear go. And notice if it's moving down. Bring the star down now to meet your manifestation wherever that manifestation is in your body. And see if it begins to move down. Now, this fear, the thing that was keeping your manifestation from moving lower, whatever fear that is, ask yourself, what happens next? If this fear of mine happens, what happens? Okay, that fear happened. All right. And then what happened? And then what happened? And then what happened? Ask yourself if you're okay. Am I okay? Am I all right? Is it okay for me to let go of this fear? Notice where the manifestation has descended to now. Bring that star down to it. And see, is there a fear here? Is there a fear? Most of the time, these fears are so illogical, and you'll kind of say, well, gosh, I know that this is stupid. It's almost, hard to admit, but it's okay. It's all right. It is something that happened typically when we're juvenile. And I'm like, hey, this is the objection from my energetic system. Okay. Am I willing to let go of that fear? And let's see if it descends down now to the base. When this thing gets down, when it gets down to the base, let's, if it's not at the base, why don't you open your mic and tell me it's not at your base? Otherwise, I'll assume it's at everyone's base. The base, I mean the base of the torso.
For me, it's in my solar plexus.
Ah, okay, good, good. And so as you're here in your solar plexus, just put your hand right ever where it is. Bring that star of creation down to it, so it's lit up. And are you aware of what the fear is?
No.
You're not? Okay. You don't know what the fear is. Okay. All right. Just relax, relax. It's there in the solar plexus. And slowly rotate your eyes. What am I? Put your attention on the solar plexus. What am I afraid of? If what is at risk right here, if this manifests? And it will, at first, a lot of times you'll be like, something silly will come to mind and you'll feel like, oh, that was so silly, that can't be it. But it is. So just notice if any silly thing comes up, like that doesn't even, it would make sense to a child, but not to you now. What's at risk if this,
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it came to me.
It came to you? Okay. And are you willing to let the fear go? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I think so.
You think so? Okay. So the method, the quick method to letting go of the fear is to ask, okay, the fear happens, and then what happens? And then that thing happened, and then what happens? Just notice, track it down like 3 or 4 times, and notice, am I okay? Okay. Were you able to do that?
Yes.
Are you able to let go?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's see if it comes down. Is the manifestation dropping?
Yes.
Okay. And where is it now?
I think it's around the belly button.
Okay. Okay, so bring the star down to the belly button. Is it moving or is it staying at the belly button?
I think it's moving slowly.
Okay, sometimes they move slowly. So just noticing it. And if it stops moving, ask, what am I afraid of right here? And then do that whole fear process.
Okay.
Okay. And just relaxing into it. And now for everyone else, notice how you feel. Notice how you feel. Alicia, I want you to continue to monitor it as it goes down to the base. And for everyone else, notice how you feel about it. Has this thing gone from a want now when you started to, oh, I feel pretty confident that this is going to happen? Like it's maybe even already happened? Go back to the things that surround you. I wanted it, I got it. I wanted it, I got it. The things that are right around you, the city you live in, the table that you're sitting at, the chair that you're on, whatever you actually wanted and got, use that to stimulate that havingness area. All day, if you stimulate this havingness area, now that this thing is in your base chakra, that really super stimulates the manifestation. All right, well done, well done. Now, Alicia, how is that now?
It's going slowly, but I think I got a hold of it.
Okay, okay, all right. So you may ask your body, what are you afraid of? You know, right here. And then because it's moving very slowly, just ask, what is it that I'm afraid of? Okay. Now, Liz has another announcement here for everybody on the practitioner program. By the way, I just want to say one thing about the practitioner program. it is such a joy that if you're not doing what you love, I tell you what, this is something that you can do in your life, gives you great purpose, and it's such a wonderful community that supports each other, and it's an absolute joy to help people. I know that all the practitioners feel that way, and they do help out each other. But go ahead, Liz.
Yeah, and I also just have one other little suggestion, a minor tweak if this works for you guys. When it's dropping down, it may not actually be fear, like that may not be the word that resonates with you. So you could always put your hand there and say, what's here? You know, maybe it's not a fear, maybe it's question. Maybe it's just a thought like, oh, when? So if that word doesn't quite resonate, just say what's here. What's stopping it? And it probably will pop right up. Putting your hand on it will help with that. So just one more little tweak when you guys are doing this on your own. I can see in the chat, a lot of people want to do it again on their own. So that's great. Okay. I just want to let you guys know one more time, practitioner training, the next round will start in October 1. You can start anytime, but the live trainings actually begin again in a cycle, a 3-month cycle, ending in January with the live in San Diego, which is going to be so fabulous. I wanted to let you guys know, there are many, many things you can use this for. So you may not be thinking like, oh, I don't necessarily want to work with people's problems. You can work with kids and testing, college students, anybody who is wanting to pass a board, you know, like nursing board, teaching board. You can be a practitioner to help them actually pass tests, get rid of fear, test anxiety, get their brain harmonized. You can work with athletes. You could work with athletes. You can actually map into their body things that they would train for a year to have. You can get those into their body in minutes. We made somebody ambidextrous during the last practitioner training. You could work with musicians. You could work with any performer on stage fright or just improving their skills. You could work them through, you know, maybe they had a bad last performance and they're worried about that. You could work with them on that. So Cognomovement practitioner training has such a wide range of things you could work on. A lot of people have asked and we didn't quite have a list. So there's many things. You could work with businesses. Businesses are always looking for ways to get creative and new ideas. You can show them how to do that in minutes. You can work with people on their communication. You can work with people on productivity. That's huge in business. So for you, if it's corporations you want to work with, you could do that all day long. You could work with CEOs on goal setting. How about manifesting for businesses? So these are some of the things. Along with, you can change traumas in the body. You can work with anxiety. You can help people get over issues and problems. You can even help people with birthing with Cognomovement. So there's a whole list of things. So I'm going to, if you're considering it and you want more information, you can reach out to Leah at info@cognomovement.com and she will set up a call for you. If you decide to become a practitioner before October, Bill and I are often offering a private chat with us to customize the experience that you have as a practitioner with what you'd like to do, what you're interested in doing and what's possible. We'll do that for you. Also, there is a discount right now. It is a $500 discount and I will put it in the chat. So if you're watching after the fact, it is PRAC 500. So you go right to the become a practitioner on cognomovement.com and it'll ask you for a coupon code and it is PRAC 500, PRAC 500. If you know you want to do it, click the link and go for it. If you want to have a conversation, info@cognomovement.com with Leah. And Yvonne, do you have a question? Go ahead. You're already a practitioner or in training.
I know.
Go ahead.
it's not related to that.
Oh, okay.
I need Leah to give me the link for my client to buy the balls.
Okay. Reach out to Leah, info@cognomovement.com. That has changed. How we do that now because we're switching
Yeah.
systems. So if you reach out, she'll give you that. We're losing you, Yvonne.
It's okay. It's okay. I think it's just my internet.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's Leah right now. Leah? Leah, are you actually there? Okay, I don't know what's happening. All right. So anybody, if you're interested in practitioners, we want to let you know. Bill's right. It is absolutely fabulous. Every time we work with a client, any one of our practitioners, Annette, Chris Sanders, who's here, can attest that you leave glowing. Like it's so joyful and it's so exciting what actually is possible for people. Bill and I worked with someone today who was in abject grief and sadness over something horrific that happened in her town that she was kind of involved in. And really, in a very short time, she was smiling, she was relieved, and her mind had absolutely worked out the problem it was having with the situation. And now what's so beautiful for us is we know that person is going to go out and actually help the community with this problem. She's in that kind of a position. Before she wasn't able, and now she is because of a simple Cogno movement session. So if you're interested, please reach out. Go ahead, Bill.
When Liz says, like trauma, we're talking about like, horrible trauma. So that was really significant by anybody's standards. So anyway, it's amazing. I guess my point of saying that is that it's amazing that the technology can within a few minutes help people over to have a life. When if she didn't do this work today, that would have been a lifelong thing.
Yeah. So, okay, you guys, so this is going to be on your Cogno Movement members community, this class that Bill just did for tonight, that Bill and I did. We'll be sending it out probably in a few days, the recording, so you can have it again to download if you want to watch it. And as always, miracles are mandatory reporting here, you guys. So if something amazing happens, you have to let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
So
send us a little testimonial and let us know, or put it on the Facebook page.
Did any comments on today's class? How did it go for you? How did it feel at the end?
It was life-changing. It was. It was.
Felt that?
I so needed it. I so needed it. I so needed it. And what was interesting was at first there was something that I thought I knew and I cleared it before maybe, and it just like boom, it came up, and I'm like, oh, that's why this is coming up. And another thing was there was a lot of limited beliefs, and I just saw all the limited belief that was around that issue, and that's what came up to me. Like, but there was a lot of limited belief around the issue. So
oh, that is so great. That is so great.
No, so great. Wanting to vomit, like I was nauseated like for like 2/3 of the time. I just had all this mucus. I'm like I can't breathe, and it was just like something inside of me keep wanting to vomit and to nauseous. So it was like, okay, I know, but it was a lot of that. It was a lot of that in the beginning. So yeah, it was amazing.
Oh, wow. Well done. Well done. I can't wait to see what happens.
Well done. Well done.
What's
Wait to see
interesting
what
was
happens.
kind of like all the limited belief that's around it was just like, oh, wow. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's great. That's great. All right. All right. Was it easily understandable? Did everybody have a process that you could easily understand this? Did it come across that way for you? Any comments on that?
Yes, I think it was very easy to follow and very easy to understand. Thank you. And if I may add regarding the practitioner training, sometimes you think you have to actually be a practitioner to take it, but I think even for your own personal development, I know that some people may have the basic training and work on it, but honestly, is that your own practice, you can take it to the next level, because if basic training has been working for you, you have no idea how practitioner training will change how you look at everything. So even if you're still finding yourself and seeing if, I'm going to help athletes or musicians or just the corporate world, just for your own self to get to know exactly how your brain works. I mean, it's just like night and day.
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks, Alicia. That is awesome. And so
Thank
true,
you.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those things. You are never the same person. When you start practitioner training, by the end of it, you are a absolutely different human. Mainly because you're working so much on Cogno Movement, and you get a mentor, so you trade sessions with them and you trade sessions with all the other practitioners. But the understanding, Alicia's right, you never look at things the same again.
All right. Well, any other questions or comments before we go? Last chance.
I was just going to say, this is Cassandra here.
Hey,
Cassandra!
Yay!
But anyway, I was going to say, I think it's so important to do the reveal. Okay, if you have this, then what comes up? If you have this, to try to get down to really what you're saying, the core issue, and that is so important, because as Liz gave those wonderful examples of running in the forest or whatever, okay, we'll let you out here. Oh, well, no, that's not what I mean. So it's helpful to once again be reminded of, okay, really, what am I really, what is really underneath everything? What is at the base of all this? And so that's always an important thing for me to look at, because I might think that this is going on or that's going on, regardless of what it is. If you're angry at somebody, if you want something, whatever, it's like, okay, what is underneath all that's inside you that needs to be released? Because if you release it from yourself, not only do you liberate yourself, it's a ripple effect. Because I think, as you've talked about before, it releases it from, say, your family, your children, and it can go backwards up the lineage too, so that it just shifts and allows lots of possibilities to come in for all these other individuals.
Amen, sister.
Yeah. And so it's like, I'm so happy to be here today. I've been dealing with stuff of, I feel like one of the things that I need to have help with, I think, is that I think there's entities around. And so, like, what is it that I need to do to release those, if there's a specific suggestion along with that?
Okay, so you have the learning portal, and on the learning portal, there is a 1.5 hour or 2 hour instruction on, it's called energetic hygiene.
Okay.
Watch the energetic hygiene class and actually it is a doing class. So these techniques are it's the atom bomb of the psychic world. You know, it is, you will be able to control your environment.
Okay,
Yeah, it
great.
helps
Because I
everybody
could have
understand it.
sworn that there was one on there about entities release, and I kept looking and looking.
It's the energetic hygiene.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I was there somewhere hidden in there.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Might be under Secrets of the Masters too. It might be under that category. So might be a look there. All right, you guys. Anybody else have something to share? Go ahead. Who's there? I thought I heard someone.
I think I was just saying thank you so much.
Oh,
All right.
good to see
All
you,
right.
Cassandra.
Good to see you.
Okay, so use this again, you guys, please, and let us know how it works. Let us know when the things manifest, because they will, and how they manifest. And Cassandra's so right about the getting specific. I was just teasing in Facebook group. One of our practitioners said she wanted a successful family life. So I said, oh, does that mean all lawyers? Get it? They're all successful? I don't think that's what she meant. So those good reason to get specific. I'm sure she means happy and loving and fulfilling and all of that. So, you know, if you don't want a family full of lawyers, maybe get a little more specific.
And, you know, if I may share where I got stuck, and it was, as Bill said, like ridiculous, right? So I've been trying to manifest for a long time that I can communicate with my horse Picasso through communicate. I would just say communicate. And then I got specific into, okay, how do I want to communicate with him? I want to communicate through images that may come to me. And I want to communicate at demand whenever I want to communicate with him, to communicate. And then all these limited beliefs of people are going to think I'm crazy. What if, you know, my Catholic family doesn't like it? And then what if what I see I don't like, or I might be afraid of the images that he sends. So all those things, I was like, I've never thought about it, and they never came up until I started thinking about it. And they sound childish, to be honest, but they were there.
And you, with each layer, you let go. Yes?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
You know, I have a thought about that. You know, it's really wonderful is that as you think about a manifestation and it gets so real that you start to see, oh, well, maybe there'll be this and maybe there'd be that. You never look that deep into what you really want and what happens next. And so the process really helps you do that. In the expanded quantum, you actually can do a timeline on that as well, but it really does show how real it's getting because the details start to be really apparent. So fantastic, Alicia.
Yes. So I hope it helps someone. You know, sometimes you think you're crazy, and maybe you're not that crazy.
Yeah, it's not crazy, by the way.
Well, even if you are crazy, that's all the fun, isn't it? Who wants to be normal? Certainly not me and Bill.
Good point. I'm with you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for today. Thank you, Liz, and that will hopefully see some of you sign up on the practitioner training. It's a lot of fun. All right. Thank you all.
Good night, everybody. Good
Night.
night, Alicia. Good night, Cassandra. Good night, Neville. Good night, Obaid. Nice to see you. Good night, Annette.
Good night, Obaid.
Our practitioner.
Neville,
Good night,
finally get to
Suzanne,
see you.
Karen. And good night, Bill McKenna.
All right.
Thank you. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.